So in RT4-1, we're going to use trigonometry to solve for the area of triangles, okay, which is something you've actually already done, but we're going to notice patterns within it. So on this very first one, we're asked to find the area of this triangle. We're going to pay special attention to how we find the height. So my height is there. When I'm looking at my height, I'm going to focus on this right triangle. From the angle that I'm given, I have the opposite side and I have the hypotenuse. So SOHCAHTOA tells me when I have O, use sine. So I've got the sine of 55 degrees equals h over 29. I'm going to multiply by 29. That'll clear this fraction. So now 29 times the sine of 55 equals my height. And some of you are reaching for your calculator and you're like, great, I'm going to round that now. And I'm going to have you stop. Okay. If I want to find the area of my triangle, I know area is 1/2 base times height. There is nothing stopping me from saying this entire thing is my height. Let's plug it in and let's type that in at the very, very end and round then. Okay, so that's what we're going to actually do. So my area now is 1/2 times my base, which is 33, times my height, and we said my height was 29 times the sine of 55. And I'm going to type that entire thing in. So I get 1/2 times 33 times 29 times the sine of 55. And area is 392, about. And I want you to notice 33 and 29 are both of our sides. 55 is the angle in between them. Okay, so keep that in the back of your brain. We're going to do another one. And again, I want you to pay special attention to how we find that height. So this time, the height is right here. I still, in this right triangle, have opposite and hypotenuse, with the 21 being my hypotenuse this time. So I'm still using sine. So the sine of 72 will equal h over 21, multiply by 21 to clear my fractions, and I get 21 times the sine of 72 equals h. And just like before, we're going to leave that entire value to be h until the very, very end. My area then has to be 1/2 base times height. My base must be 38.5 because that's perpendicular to my height. And I'm going to use this entire value for my height. And if I type that entire thing into my calculator, I get 1/2 times 38.5 times 21 times the sine of 72 degrees, and I get 384.5. And notice again, I'm multiplying my two sides times the sine of the angle between them. So there's a pattern because that's what we did up here as well. The two sides times the sine of the angle between them times 1/2. So the new formula you can use is going to be, if your triangle looks like this, the area will equal 1/2 times your sides A and B times the sine of angle C. We always use lowercase to indicate sides and uppercase to indicate angles. especially when you're using angle C. Make it really, really big so it's obvious it's an angle. Okay, so A and B are the lengths of sides. C is the angle. It has to be between them. So we're going to do some practice with this. So we're asked to find the area of this triangle. I'm going to start with my formula. 1/2 AB sine of C. And some of you are like, I don't know which one is A and which one is B. And cherubs, it does not matter because in multiplication, A times B is the same as B times A. So I'm just plugging in my two sides, 8.4 times 10.6 times the sine of the angle between them, 51. I gotta throw that whole thing into my calculator. 0.5 times 8.4 times 10.6 times the sine of 51 degrees, and I get 34.6. It is very much just plug and play. All right, I'm asked to find the area again. I'm starting with my formula. Area equals 1/2 AB times the sine of C. Plug in your numbers. So I'm really doing 1/2 times 10.1 times 12.9 times sine 112. Again, it does not matter which one is A and which one is B. As long as the angle is between those sides, it will not matter. And some of you are sitting here and you're like, how can you have the sine of 112 when that's not even a right triangle? In this case, it doesn't matter. It will work. And you're good. 60.4. All right, our last example, same exact thing. Start with your formula. Area equals 1/2 AB times the sine of C. Substitute all of your values. My sides are 5 and 9. Those go in for A and B. Order doesn't matter. The angle between them is 109. That goes in for C. And then it's just plug and play. And if you are doing this along with me and you are not getting the same answers, that means your calculator is not set to degrees. And you should change it to degrees. Okay, so you should get 21.3 on that one. And that is it. It is just plug and play with that formula.